Hola, buenas tardes. Hello, this is Andrew West in the Matrix right now. I'm doing 3 line divisions right now, so I'm changing all its calculations, modifications, going through electronic interference. The electronic interference is on this connection energy widening pattern where it's going through the matrix core system. So I hope everybody's doing well. I just finished doing a video on a little bit of what's going on with its graphene medical systems, which is your health system through the body and ecosystem, changing everything, so anomalies and everything through its interface and interaction of its outer surface, which is coming through the inner surface of its meditation and its method through chakra formations, understanding the shapes and divisional lines, everything through its sets, the dimensional sets, which is point centers. So I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you all subscribers and viewers. You guys are fantastic. Going through this tremendous force, especially to all the new viewers. I hope you're having a great time watching my channel. So today I'm just going to do a quick note on what's going on right now. I've got a new graphene structure paper. I'm going to go pick some up. I had to anyway. Let's get started, shall we? So everything is line division to center. Okay. Very important to understand that. Okay. So once you have the center, you splits device, remember? It's always 4. Okay. This is showing you wind graphene window outside. Remember in my last video? So basically, we're going to make it into a square rectangle through activation through its center. Okay. So everything through its activation center, okay, it's cross-referencing. Okay, this is much easier for you. Okay, so you got the cross-referencing right now. Okay, so everything through the point center, okay, is subdivided through its dimensional sets. Okay, the point center is its activations. Okay, it line divides in all sections. So basically now we've got what we call a diamond. Okay, so now once it goes into a diamond, this is tricky. Okay, this is where it comes into the confusion of line formation. Okay, so the cross-referencing is already within its plasmasium force system. Okay, like that. So ready to go that. Through its information of the galactic higher self, it communicates, right? Very important, right? All right, it's communicating, it's activating. Now those line divisions are different point centers through its box center. Remember I was telling you about each box center's divisional set through a parallel of its dimension. So once you understand its point centers, everybody gets to understand that, then you're going to understand its confusion of its line centers. So the line centers are cross-winning its circle through its plasmasium force system. Okay? I'll just show you here. And this is what we call an X. Okay? So now it's an X. All right, so you see what's happening here? Its activation code has changed its system through its confusion of its line system. See a cross-reference? I went over the line structure of the diamond core. Okay, this is how it becomes a wall graphene center, and the simulation is through its acting center. And once you find the acting center, the matrix or the galactic, the higher self, will communicate in all lines and frames of its point centers through its dimensional sets, through its diamond's core. Okay, so that's what we've got so far. So from there, what you want to do is you want to understand everything through the north. Okay. We're into the matrix. Okay. Now, me being in the matrix, right, is understanding everything through its atmospheres. Okay, so now the line divisional levels go higher. Okay, so it goes across the screen. Okay, and also everything through its ground formation. Okay, right, is its gravity center. Okay, so a point forms and splits device through its centers. So it's kind of something like that. Okay, so the wall graphene system, okay, basically everything through the center, you can create confusion line centers. So basically I can do another line graph and another line graph and another line graph and just keep going on. So it's kind of like a spider web. Okay, I'll do it on both sides. So you get everything, but you understand how everything is line divided through its center. It's powerful stuff. Once you see it. Okay, so you see what's happening right now through its activation center. It's going through its circulation, its rotation. It's subdividing everything through its calculation, modification, its calibrations. Everything is formulated through the simulation of its centers. Okay, because everything through its activation is its point center. And that's how the plasmasium force system changes its confusion lines of its point systems of its dimensional core. Okay, so don't forget, this is a gravity center, which is on its ground formation. Okay, so once you go on that, now because you're in the matrix, you can also do confusion activation centers, okay, and go to higher levels. And this is where it gets complicated, because now it's a web, okay? But to see how everything line divides, and see this triangular angular base, see the triangle? See the triangle? Now it's a different kind of triangle, but it's a kind of like a triangle box. You can turn that into a square, right? That's how it subdivides, because when you're in the simulation world, it's extremely real. And this is what you see through the point forms of its perceptions, and how everything through its coloration becomes its matrix through its vibration through the harmonic systems. So it's a web graphing system. That's what this is. It's a web graphing system through its activation of its diamond core, through its acting center. Okay? Starting off with the point centers, 4 point centers of a divisional rectangular box. Okay? But that's exactly what it is. Okay? So once you understand that, then you understand everything that's going on right now with your body systems and how important it is to know your conscious levels through its line perception. Now, line perception is on a different communication level, okay, through its point center. So when that happens, the point centers get bigger and bigger, and it creates a portal on each side. Okay, so it circles. All right. So see how it's coming together now? Okay. That's what happens when you go through higher interfacing of interforcing through its interperception of its interaction. Okay. So those 4 point divisional sets, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, creates another diamond core. So it's an expansion of an upgrade. Okay. So once it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it line divides. Okay. Bigger, 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 and bigger. So it's opening 4 divisional lines of portals. Okay. So now, this is what we got so far. But you see what's happening right now? It's changing its activation code every time through its plasmesium force systems and its activation of its perception centers. Okay, so these are point centers of dimensional sets, which are now becoming wormholes of its activation. So each activation is a simulation, okay, through an allocation of a location, through a channeling of a radio signal, okay? So you can channel from one point to another point to another point to another point to another point. And you can just keep going, you know, higher and higher and higher. But it's just understanding everything through its confusion becomes its line system. But remember, it changes its plasmesium force system because the plasmesium force systems gets bigger and bigger too, right? It has to, because now you're opening a portal. So it just gets bigger, okay? And it has to reach its line division through its center. So if you open in a plasma force system, which I call it a matrix grid, with its electronic interference through its force, it's connecting through all point centers of plasma, okay? And once it hits its point center, it's on full communication airwaves through the simulation of its world, okay? So it kind of looks like something like this. All right, but see how it's opening? See how the plasma is opening through its activation through its center? Kind of looks like a tesseract, right? Kind of, sort of. But these are different dimensional point centers, okay, through the confusion lines of its line centers, okay? But as you can see, everything is line divide. It has to. So this is what your perception sees on an everyday basis, okay, once you're in the matrix. But it's understanding everything through its line formation, through its vibration, everything through its calculation and its mass, everything through its volume, okay, and everything through its modification. That's extremely important to know these things. I love when you say, no, this is where it's going to get confusing. Yeah. Everything it's confusion is the matrix. Okay. So basically, when you're going past its realm, okay, it's in its line center. It's going into what we call defense line systems. So once it gets past its line systems, we can basically upwind its cycle, okay, and bring it up to space. And we can form another line formation through its confusion line system, okay? and put it through its point center. So now, this is getting tricky. So now it's turning into dimensional box through its point center. Once it goes on its full activation of its codes, then you understand everything through its activation of its centers. Okay? That's fascinating stuff, the higher you go through its divisional levels, but that's what the simulation world is. It's understanding everything is line dividing and how you are everything to its center. Okay, because you can just keep going, but you have to understand each point center is a different activation of its code. And that's how it gets confusing through its line center. Okay, but that's everything in the formulation of its matrix core and the grid centers. That's what it looks like. That's what it is. Once you're in the simulation world, you have to understand line perception. You have to understand communication perception. You have to understand confusion line perceptions. Okay, so it's getting a little bit more tricky now. Okay, so anything that you see, you can formulate around that through its cycles and its circles. But it's very important you understand its activation through its point centers because it's different point divisional sets. Okay, because the confusing mechanism is changing its allocation to its location to a communication radio signal because it's channeling its waving systems through its line formations. That's where it gets really confusing. Okay, so I just want to bring that to your attention. So, but that's exactly what it is. So, yeah, like the higher self. Okay, he's using this. He can also use his hand formation too if he wants. It's up to him. Hand formation is very important when it comes to intelligence. But just showing you exactly what happens. Okay? It's exactly what it is. Okay? So, with its communication and its waving patterns, it's communicating. Okay? And the hand is communicating. So once it's communicating, it's going through confusion of line systems. So it's changing its activation of its codes. Each time it goes through a different shape. Okay, so that's what it is. So it's communicating with the mind-braving systems as it's changing its activation systems through its confusing mechanism of its line formations and using the hand formations for communication of electronic interference. And that's how it becomes this through its center. Okay, that's exactly what it is. Okay, so I'm just showing you exactly what's going on right now, but I'll just show you that one more time. I just want to do a quick note on what's going on right now through its activation of the matrix and how everything is line dividing through its shapes and its vibration through its harmonic systems. Okay, so I hope you're doing well, Angie. Just want to bring that to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So, you know, try to formulate, try to meditate, get comfortable with what's going on. Use your connection energy waving patterns. Use your systematical systems through your body and ecosystems. Get connected to your line formations, your shapes, your vibrations through the harmonic systems. Get connection with the gravity centers. And try to use everything through its information. Okay? So we're going to formulate a lot faster and a lot quicker. So our operating systems are going through a higher electronic interference. But I hope you're doing well. I'm going to tap out for now. This is Andrew Weston, the Matrix Grid Systems Arena, high rising on so many line divisions of the computer, analytical mind, graphing matrix systems, where I line formulate everything through its shape systems. Take it easy, everybody. Adios.